She looked at his boots, then at his hands, rough, cracked, stained by years of turning American soil into profit, and in that quiet, expensive room, she made a decision. He didn't belong. The chandeliers shimmered above polished marble floors as diners in tailored jackets pretended not to stare. The waitress straightened her posture and told him the restaurant was reservation only, her eyes lingering on the dust along his cuffs. What she didn't know was that men who build things rarely look the part. Decades earlier, after the 1980s farm crisis forced thousands off their land across the Midwest, one farmer named Jack Callahan refused to sell. He expanded, invested in distressed hospitality brands during the 2008 recession when others panicked, and eventually became majority owner of the very luxury franchise whose door was now closing in his face. The man she refused to serve owned the entire company. And before the night was over, everything would change. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Long before anyone questioned his place at that table, Daniel Carter had already proven his worth where it mattered most. He was a third-generation American farmer, raised on 80 acres his grandfather nearly lost during the farm crisis that forced thousands off their land across the Midwest in the 1980s. While others sold, Daniel expanded. He studied commodity markets, reinvested profits, and by the time most men his age were slowing down, he had grown that modest plot into more than 2,000 acres of productive ground. When the 2008 financial collapse pushed several hospitality brands to the edge, Daniel quietly bought in, acquiring a controlling stake in what would become a fast-growing luxury dining franchise. He never changed his wardrobe, never moved to the city, never chased applause. He valued respect over recognition and character over image. Daniel believed something simple. You don't measure a man by his jacket, you measure him by his word. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. By the time Daniel Carter walked into the downtown flagship of his own luxury franchise, the dinner rush was in full swing. Crystal glasses reflected soft light across white tablecloths, and men in tailored suits discussed investments over aged steaks that carried his company's name. Daniel stepped across the marble floor in a faded flannel shirt, work jeans, and mud-worn boots, looking exactly like the farmer he had always been. The hostess hesitated, then the waitress approached with a tight, practiced smile. "Sir, this is a reservation-only establishment." Daniel calmly replied that he would be happy to wait for any available table. She glanced at his clothes and smirked. "We have standards here." A few nearby guests turned to watch, their curiosity sharpening into quiet judgment. The floor manager arrived, listened briefly, and chose the side that looked more profitable in the moment. Within minutes, Daniel Carter, majority owner of the entire franchise, was escorted to the door. It closed firmly behind him. They didn't just deny him service, they denied him dignity. What no one in that dining room understood was that Daniel Carter was not a random customer wandering in from the outskirts of town. Years earlier, when the franchise was drowning in debt during the financial collapse of 2008, when banks tightened lending and restaurant chains across America filed for bankruptcy protection, Daniel stepped forward quietly with capital earned from decades of disciplined farming and strategic commodity investments. He reviewed the numbers, saw potential where others saw risk, and signed the founding restructuring documents that kept the brand alive. Corporate stock certificates carried his name. Ownership charts showed a simple truth: 51%. Controlling interest. He had never visited this particular branch before. He believed leadership should trust managers to uphold standards without supervision. The empire they were protecting was built on his land money. Yet standing outside that locked glass door, Daniel Carter felt something stronger than anger. He felt concern. Was this just one misguided employee, or had disrespect become part of the culture itself?
Daniel Carter did not call a press conference, and he did not summon the board. Instead, he contacted his longtime legal advisor and requested internal compliance reports, surprise visit policies, and employee grievance logs. What he found was troubling. Executive security protocols screened all unannounced arrivals, ensuring senior leadership rarely faced unscripted encounters. Complaints were routed through layers of management before reaching the top, often summarized, softened, or closed without visibility. The CEO operated inside a protective structure designed to prevent disruption. Daniel decided he would not approach as an owner. He would approach as someone no one noticed. The next morning, he parked his pickup truck behind corporate headquarters, pulled a baseball cap low over his face, and carried a cheap insulated delivery bag through the loading dock entrance. No board meeting. No announcement. No warning. Security scanned the barcode on the bag and waved him through without a second look. He moved past executive floor protocols simply because no one imagined he mattered. Sometimes, the only way to see the truth is to walk in as someone invisible.
Inside corporate headquarters, Daniel Carter felt the temperature change. Conversations lowered as he passed. Glass offices remained shut, silhouettes moving behind tinted panels while assistants hurried through corridors with careful urgency. No one looked relaxed. Two junior employees whispered near a copy machine about a colleague who had been dismissed over a minor customer complaint. Another mentioned how managers were praised for protecting the brand's image, even if it meant silencing internal concerns. It wasn't just arrogance. It was systemic. When Daniel waited longer than expected near the service elevator, a young receptionist, assuming he was only a delivery driver, quietly apologized for the delay and thanked him for his patience. The courtesy stood in sharp contrast to the tension radiating from senior executives who passed without acknowledgement. Lower-level staff carried the weight. Upper management carried authority. Daniel Carter calmly informed the front desk he had a delivery scheduled directly for the CEO in the penthouse suite. Then he waited, allowing the delay to stretch just long enough to reveal who valued respect and who only valued control. At the top floor of corporate headquarters, the penthouse suite overlooked the city skyline, a private whiskey bar positioned beside floor-to-ceiling windows that framed success in glass and steel. The CEO was mid-phone call when Daniel Carter arrived outside the office door, still wearing his baseball cap and holding the insulated delivery bag. Daniel waited longer than necessary, watching assistants exchange uneasy glances as the minutes stretched. Inside, the CEO's voice sharpened. "Why is this delivery taking so long?" The irritation was immediate, impatient, unquestioned. Finally, Daniel stepped into the office. The CEO did not look up. "Just leave it there," he said dismissively. Daniel remained still. After a brief pause, he spoke calmly, addressing him by name. The CEO glanced up, annoyed. "You people can't follow simple instructions?" The room settled into silence. Daniel Carter removed his cap slowly and held the CEO's gaze. The assistant froze. Recognition dawned. The color drained from the CEO's face as he connected the man before him to framed investor photographs and annual reports. For the first time that day, the room went quiet. Daniel Carter did not raise his voice. He did not threaten anyone in the room. He looked around calmly and asked, "Tell me, is this how we treat people?" For a moment, the memory of the evening replayed in his mind. The waitress's smirk, the manager dismissing him without a second thought, employees whispering nervously in the hallway as if their silence could erase responsibility. The CEO attempted to recover, words fumbling as he tried to regain control of a situation he had never anticipated. Daniel's voice cut through with quiet authority. "Respect isn't a marketing strategy. It's a foundation." Decisions followed immediately. The branch manager was terminated, a full culture audit was launched, and an anonymous reporting system was established to ensure employees could speak without fear. The waitress who had refused him service was offered retraining, not public humiliation, a lesson in accountability tempered with fairness. Daniel paused and reflected, his gaze returning to the horizon far beyond the city skyline. A man's character isn't revealed when he's recognized, it's revealed when he's ignored. And as the first light of dawn stretched across his farmland, the day's justice settled quietly, the work of a lifetime standing firm.